For more than 3,000 years, one civilization stood along the banks of a single river and built monuments that still defy time. This was ancient Egypt. A land of gods and kings, of death and rebirth, of pyramids, temples, and secrets buried beneath the sand. While other civilizations rose and fell in centuries, Egypt endured for millennia, constantly changing, collapsing, and rising again. This is the complete history of ancient Egypt, from its earliest beginnings to its final fall. Long before pyramids pierced the skyline, before hieroglyphs covered temple walls, the story of Egypt began with the Nile. Each year, the river flooded, depositing rich black soil across the desert. This made life possible in an otherwise deadly land. Around 6000 BCE, small farming communities began to settle along its banks. They grew wheat and barley, raised animals, and traded with neighboring regions. Over time, these villages grew more complex. People developed pottery, tools, religious symbols, and burial customs that hinted at beliefs about the afterlife. Gradually, two distinct regions emerged, Upper Egypt in the south and Lower Egypt in the north. Each had its own rulers, gods, and traditions, but Egypt would not remain divided for long. Around 3100 BCE, a king from Upper Egypt, traditionally known as Narmer, conquered the north and unified the land. This moment marked the birth of ancient Egypt as a civilization. Narmer became the first pharaoh, a ruler believed to be both human and divine. He wore the combined crown of Upper and Lower Egypt and ruled as the living embodiment of order, or Maat. The capital was established at Memphis, and the foundations of ancient Egyptian civilization were set. Writing appeared in the form of hieroglyphs. A centralized government formed. Religion, art, and architecture all followed strict traditions that would last for thousands of years. Egypt had entered the age of the pharaohs. By around 2686 BCE, Egypt entered what we now call the Old Kingdom. This was the age of the pyramids. Pharaohs were seen as living gods, destined to rule on earth and continue ruling in the afterlife. To ensure this eternal reign, they built massive stone tombs designed to last forever. The first was Djoser's Step Pyramid, designed by the architect Imhotep. Soon after came the Great Pyramids of Giza, built for Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. Contrary to myth, these pyramids were not built by slaves, but by skilled workers who labored as a form of national service. Egypt was wealthy, stable, and powerful, but this stability depended entirely on a strong central government and predictable Nile floods. When those failed, everything collapsed. Around 2181 BCE, droughts, famine, and weak leadership shattered the Old Kingdom. Local governors seized power. Egypt fractured into rival regions. The authority of the pharaoh diminished. This period is often described as chaotic, but life did not stop. Art, literature, and religion continued to evolve. Ordinary people even gained greater access to the afterlife, once reserved only for royalty. Eventually, one ruler would reunite the land and restore order. By 2055 BCE, Egypt was unified once again, marking the beginning of the Middle Kingdom. This era focused less on divine kingship and more on effective governance. Pharaohs portrayed themselves as shepherds of their people rather than gods above them. Egypt expanded south into Nubia, gaining access to gold and trade routes. Literature flourished, producing some of Egypt's greatest texts. Art became more realistic and emotional. But prosperity once again attracted outsiders. Around 1650 BCE, a foreign group known as the Hyksos took control of northern Egypt. They introduced new technology, including horses, chariots, and advanced weapons. Though they ruled as kings, they were never fully accepted. Eventually, Egyptian rulers from the south rebelled. Using the very weapons the Hyksos had introduced, they drove the invaders out. Egypt learned a powerful lesson. Never again would it remain unprepared. From 1550 to 1070 BCE, Egypt reached the height of its power. This was the New Kingdom. Egypt became an empire, conquering lands from Nubia to the Levant. Wealth poured in from tribute and trade. Massive temples were constructed at Karnak, Luxor, and Abu Simbel. Legendary pharaohs ruled during this time. Hatshepsut, a woman who ruled as king, brought peace and prosperity. Akhenaten attempted a radical religious revolution, worshipping one god above all others. Tutankhamun restored the old traditions. Ramesses II ruled for over 60 years, fighting great wars and building colossal monuments. But empires are expensive. After the New Kingdom, Egypt slowly weakened. Corruption spread. The priesthood grew powerful. Foreign invasions increased. Egypt fractured once more into competing regions. Libyans, Nubians, Assyrians, and Persians all ruled Egypt at different times. Yet Egyptian culture endured. Even foreign rulers adopted Egyptian titles, gods, and customs. But independence was fading. In 332 BCE, Alexander the Great conquered Egypt without a fight. After his death, his general Ptolemy took control, founding the Ptolemaic dynasty. These Greek rulers embraced Egyptian traditions while ruling from Alexandria, one of the greatest cities of the ancient world. The Library of Alexandria became a symbol of human knowledge. The last ruler of this line was Cleopatra VII. Brilliant, charismatic, and politically skilled, Cleopatra allied herself with Rome's most powerful men. But after defeat by Octavian, she took her own life in 30 BCE. Egypt became a Roman province. The age of the pharaohs was over. Though its rulers fell, ancient Egypt never truly died. Its architecture inspired civilizations for thousands of years. Its religious ideas shaped later beliefs. Its writing unlocked the secrets of the ancient world through the Rosetta Stone. Even today, Egypt fascinates us because it reminds us that human ambition, belief, and creativity can reach beyond time itself.